This is the geographical spread of our investment projects. London exclusively for flipping, and our Northwest portfolio. So to make the appeal to our local audience, I will do my best to express the prices as well in Indian rupees. So excuse my conversion exercises. So that is the first HMO we have purchased in Huddersfield, which is West Yorkshire. It's a 15-bed HMO. There is 6-bed and 9-bed, two properties next to each other. It was purchased back in 2016, and the acquisition price was 3.10 crores. Yeah, got it, thank you. And then we've got quite modest refurb budget of 10.8 lakhs. Thank you so much. And as for the expected return at full occupancy, we are grossing 14%. Of course, there are some expenses associated with running the property. We need to pay for the broadband provider, we need to pay electricity, gas, water, TV license, letting agent, council taxes. But still after that, there is enough to make our investors happy. So this is how this property looks from outside and inside. We have, initially it was designed for students, and then gradually we have changed the tenant type. Now we have the working tenants. We're quite happy about the way it goes. The next one is in Wakefield. That's the property I've mentioned that we have the association who had rented it out, which reinserts the young people into a normal life. This one is rented under guaranteed scheme for 2-year lease, renewable after 1 year, so there is break clause, but normally they would stay at least 2 years, and hopefully they would renew afterwards. They have taken it under guaranteed rent. They prepay us quarterly, the revenues on this one, and we are only liable for the utilities. They take care of the council tax, and since it's a charitable organization, actually they do not pay any council tax. So everyone is better off over there. You can see the numbers, right? Whether from the rear you can see the numbers as well. Yeah, okay, great stuff. So we are yielding 15% gross on this property. Oops. So this is how it looks from outside and from inside. The next one is situated in Rotherham. It's also in Yorkshire. Initially, it was bought as a 7-bed HMO, and we had undergone the loft conversion. So we had to reapply for an HMO license to be put in place for this extended place. We've got the planning permission. And we have managed to find now extremely strong agents who are keeping this property under very interesting management model. They are accepting working tenants who even come to stay for 1 month, and they don't mind rotating. And those tenants, they are on fixed management fee, meaning that there is no fee for checking in the new tenant. So basically, they don't mind having the additional workload, and they secure via their active cooperation with local associations hosting temporary workers, they secure the full occupancy of our building. So here we're yielding also around 15%. So it was purchased at 2.44 crores, and we've spent nearly 30 lakhs on the refurb. This is how it looks from outside and from inside. Example, one of the rooms. So to make the rooms more attractive to our tenants, we stage them, meaning that we bring some accessories to decorate those. Once the tenant decides on the room, of course, he is free to bring his own accessories, linen, towels, whatever, but we at least make a nice presentation. Would you like eventually to stay for a couple of days in such room? Just, while on a travel, that might be a good solution. Even occasionally, we might accept some travelers. So that one has got also a particular story. well, me personally, I'm very attached to Liverpool. I just love this city. It's a coastal city, it's a port, and it's got such a vibe. It's the second city in the UK having the biggest, largest amount of grade 1 and grade 2 buildings. It has got lovely architecture. And as we've seen, the population growth over there is top 1 in the UK currently. And so this property has got also quite an interesting background. Initially, it was bought as business in the box, led to a single tenant. And then gradually that tenant stepped out. It was managed by the agent who wasn't located locally. We ultimately decided to replace the agent. We've done some refurb works to make it look even nicer. And now we have got a really very nice offer to sell. So we are exiting on this property. We're making a really very good return for our investors. And just to give you the idea of numbers, the purchase price 1.67 crores. The refurb was 17.3 lakh. And we are selling it close to 240k pounds, which is, well, 2.4 crores, something like this. I believe that this is quite a good example of how we can turn around the investment and decide when and how to exit. This is how it looks from outside and inside. Now we have, actually why we are exiting on HMOs, because we believe now we have got more powerful build teams, and we would like to concentrate our efforts on developing rather than taking over business in the boxes. We'd like to develop our own business in the boxes. And this is what happens. Starting from this slide, you will see the last important line, equity creation. This is where we will make the money upfront for our investors. We will develop something, some abandoned property, into some beautiful residential and commercial units. Okay? So this project, the purchase price was really low, the refurb budget quite substantial, and we will expect to yield at full occupancy 14%. And here we have 2 shops, 3 one-bed apartments and 1 two-bed apartment. And just to give you the idea of the done-up property, so this is how it looks like from outside and inside. So we've got 2 commercial tenants. One is a beautician, another one is Botox clinics. The businesses are thriving over there. There is a good passage rate, client base, local client base, who are attending regularly to those shops. So, for example, our guy with the Botox clinics, in good day, he can make 3.5k out of 1 day. Have you got any question? I've seen the raised hand. Was it for a question? No. Okay. So, I mean, those are premium tenants for commercial units, which we would like to keep on developing more and more of those units and bring in those type of profiles. As you can see from their business model, they are so successful so that they can afford easily paying good rents and staying with us for years. Location is good, client base is excellent, property finishings is excellent, they are happy, we are happy, our investors are happy. And next one is also a great example of assisted living. So that's the property that used to be abandoned office blocks, and we have developed those into 12 units. 1 unit had gone to the caretaker, and 11 units now are taken by the Assisted Living Association. And by now it is filled up, and we have signed the guaranteed lease for 5 years. So we're talking here about the gross yield 16%, which is really massive, and we have created upfront at least 29% of equity. This is how it looks once finished. Okay. So our next property, that's kind of, I call it my baby. That's the one, the church, which was advised to me by the builder from the networking event. We have put an offer for it 1 year ago. there was sealed bids. I learned about this property 48 hours before the deadline for the bid submission. So I didn't have time to visit it inside. We put our offer subject to structural contract, a structural engineer survey, and planning permission. We were at that moment the second best bidder. We didn't win the bid. There have been a couple who ambiguously thought that this kind of property will make a unifamiliar house. Just to give you an idea, it's 350 square meters on the ground. When we got inside and we had our structural engineer run the survey, of course we knew there were a couple of issues which we're going to fix, but that allowed us to bring the price down to 72.4 lakhs. So we saved on the purchase price. And we put the offer conditional on structural survey and planning. Here the planning was really a game changer. And immediately, while putting the planning to some kind of building which is abandoned, which is, by the way, it was built in 1850. So, and our builders, when they saw the building, they're like, wow, it is beautiful. It's very solid construction. It's the old red brick which will stay for centuries. About your question for longevity of the building, it's here for, well, what, close to 200 years, and it will stay another 200 easily, if not more. And this one we are going to complete next week. We've exploited the permitted development rights. The owner tried to submit the planning application twice for a conversion of the office building into HMO. They wanted 16-bed HMO. The local community raised 48 objections each time. 2 years in a row he was unsuccessful. So this is, This is an abandoned commercial property, which looks like this from inside, from outside the frontage and the rear view. And our idea would be to develop it into 10 one-bed units, and we have got the planning permission for it already. The idea of permitted development rights is that you have the right to change the use of commercial, which is currently, into residential. And the local council can't refuse it, because you are doing good for the community. You are taking some abandoned building and you are bringing it back to life. So in this case, the planning permission was granted already. We are safe to proceed. We have done asbestos survey. We have run the structural engineer survey. We brought our contractors on site to secure the competitive quotes. We know our budget. And again, as a bonus, another local association for assisted living is interested very much in this location. It is located like in heart downtown. And the great news right after we have exchanged conditionally is that there is a speed tram which is going to connect Middleton to Manchester in 15 minutes ride. So you can imagine the impact on the local property market. Immediately the prices went up. So we have secured it at a really good price, and the end valuation is going to be even more substantial. We try always to be on a very conservative side in our valuations, but the real market, like we have seen with the first experience on exiting on our property, paid back very sweetly. And this is our flip strategy. So the London project, which we have realized this year, the project cycle had taken 10 months from the moment the offer was accepted till the moment we sold the property. The idea here, it was a ground floor flat in Fulham, Zone 2 in London, and we have converted it. It was like one master bedroom and one bedsit, very small bed, and we have created the ground floor extension to the rear side. There is a backyard, so we were able to develop the whole new extension, which looks really beautiful on the pictures. So as you can see, all the part of the kitchen with the daylight coming from the roof, that is the new build part. Does it look nice? I think so. As for the numbers, we have realized here 23% return. For 10 months project, when you'll be investing 4 crore for the purchase and 95 lakhs for refurb, and you are walking away with 6.7 crores, I believe it's quite a good investment. Would you like to do such projects? Guys, you're welcome anytime. And now that we have done the first trial in London, and well, initially I would say there's been a bit of reluctancy because flips are perceived as a higher risk projects. But we have eliminated the risks, having excellent teams on the ground. Anyway, local architect, local build control officer, local structural engineer, local contractors for the supplies. We are picking up carefully with local designers what are the trends on the market. So once we bring the property to the market, and ladies would know me and they would support me that we buy for kitchens, we buy for bathrooms and toilets. We want them to be really the best. We make sure those areas, they are really up to the ladies' liking. And believe me, if lady would say, yes, I want it, you men will have to comply. So that was exactly the type of purchaser we had. It was a married couple, and the lady, she fancied the property at first sight, and she was like, absolutely, I want it, after the first visit. And they went for it straight away. They got the mortgage in place. Those were the first-time buyers, so they had a rebate on the council tax, on the stamp duty land tax for the acquisition, and then they were able to proceed with it quite quickly. And to show you a couple of properties we have currently under offer, since we've done the first trial project, now we are ready to upscale, and our team's up and running for bigger projects, and they are doing the bigger projects in parallel for other investors. So we are confident they will do those for us. Those are 2 projects we've put under offer. So one is we would expect to purchase it at 9.5 crore, invest 4.6 crore in the refurb, and walk away with 19.6 crore. Look quite good as potential project. Do you like it? Yes, no? Yes. Okay, good, thank you. The idea of those bigger developments is that we take the whole property and we subdivide it into units. That allows us as well to eliminate the risk of investing into one single big unit while creating those smaller units. That allows us to flip them quicker because we have spread the risk, and the smaller units would go away much quicker. 1 beds and 2 beds in London, they're just, you are selling them all day long. And the second project, we would expect to realize at least 29% return over there. Think not bad either. So hopefully we would expect one of the offers to come through. Those we are doing with private investors. There are 1 or 2 investors who come to us and like, yeah, I have funds, I'd like to do something in London. I believe how cool that sounds. Yeah, I've got a property in London, I'm flipping in London. So thank you really so much for your attention.